Good morning, dog. Good morning, dog. Yes. I am retired. Please take me off your solicitation list. Thank you for the kind words and good luck with your business. Period. Good morning. I'm next to a busy street and I have dogs outside. So that's your warning.
No problem here. You're fine. You're fine. You're in Mexico?
I am.
Wow. How is it?
Yes. I'm in San Miguel de Allende.
Oh, awesome.
It's great. It's just beautiful here.
I believe it. I believe it.
And
How long are you?
I'm here until the 17th.
Oh, that's a good time.
I arrived yesterday.
That's a great time.
Yeah, I left last Friday and spent the weekend in Dallas and then flew down here, and I have a cousin here. So I'm staying with her.
That's awesome. Greg, good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning, folk. How are we?
Excellent. Hi, Jim.
I feel like I just saw you yesterday.
Yes, sir. Brief, but we were there.
I told this to Michael, but for those who just joined, I'm next to a busy street and have dogs outside. I'm in Mexico staying with my cousin.
How are things there, Linda?
Well, it's interesting because last night we went out to buy some delicious pastries for this morning, and they have the city square cordoned off. So you have to go through a health checkpoint to get in. And you have to wear a mask even out on the street here. And they take your temperature before you go in. I haven't done that yet. I'll probably go venturing out today. But my cousin said that it was just as bad here as it is now in India.
Oh, God.
That it was really awful.
Yeah.
She also thinks that probably the government's not telling the whole truth about how many died.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
But
India.
the airlines have it down to a science. You scan a QR code, fill out a health questionnaire before you enter the country. And that's what you need to leave the country also. And then to go back into the US, I'll have to have a COVID test within 48 hours of departure.
Okay.
But the flights I've been on have been full.
Yeah. That's right. Elizabeth said that too when she went to Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Southwest flight from Las Vegas to Dallas at 6 in the morning was full.
Part of that's the joy of being in Vegas with the number of flights in and out are substantial compared to a lot of communities.
That's very true.
The competition has kept down the Vegas prices as a hub.
And
Has been-
do not pay for upgrades right now because there's absolutely no service on board. And Southwest handed us a cup of either water or a soft drink. They didn't even have coffee at 6 in the morning. And American yesterday had nothing
Right.
except their handout for anything extra they could charge you for.
That's right.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you what, if you,
I
Go
could
ahead.
get used to this life. I was served breakfast in bed this morning with fresh squeezed juice and a croissant and coffee and melon. I felt like a queen.
that's awesome.
Well, I am a queen, so.
That's right.
I
Tell you what.
You're not here in town today, Linda.
That's so why.
Where are you at this time?
What's going on in Vegas today?
Nah, it's work day.
Work, work, work. Pay the man.
Mhm.
Paying somebody.
Yeah, well, they have Rotary here, and they actually have an English language club here, and I'm going to see if they're meeting tomorrow. I might try to go.
Where are you?
I'm in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico.
Ah, okay.
So you fly into Leon to get here, and it was a nonstop Dallas to Leon, and then you get in a car and jolt along on fair roads that have huge speed bumps like mountains for any little village, and there are quite a few of them. But it was a nice ride, and there were horses meandering along the road and some interesting sights.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the big news in the Rotary world today is Bill and Melinda Gates, right?
Yeah.
Well, what a shock.
Okay. You got my attention. What is it?
They're getting
I'm
divorced.
not sure it's their front page.
Hi, Dave.
Good morning, all. How is everyone?
Excellent. How's your wound doing?
You know, it's crazy. I was feeling better and walked 2 miles on Friday, got back to my normal routine and woke up Sunday morning and could almost not walk again. So this Achilles is giving me some grief, but I'll be
Oh.
okay. Just tendonitis.
You think your career as a marathon runner is over?
I think probably. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a marathon hobbler. I don't know. We'll see.
As I
Okay.
ate that croissant this morning that was worth every calorie, I thought, well, this ends the supermodel career I've been dreaming of.
Oh, I guess at a certain point, you just got to live life, right? What can you
That's
do?
right.
Hi, Raquel. Raquel, who is not really Gerard.
Why does that happen? Here, I
Let's
think
see if I can rename you.
that's the director of nursing at our office. Oh, I
Oh,
got it. I got it.
there you go. Good.
How's Mexico, Linda?
Oh, look who's here. Look who's back from his madcap adventure in the stolen car. It's Ronald Summers. Has he talked to you about it? Is he traumatized?
He's been pleading the fifth for the last week.
So it's possible that he himself took the car.
So when I got the car, all of the mirrors were turned down as if it were like a 3-foot person driving. So that's even more kind of evidence against him, basically.
Absolutely. How is the car?
It was in fine condition, honestly.
Oh, good. That's
They
great.
they had enough. They had respect for it. It just seemed like it had half a tank.
Joyriding or
Yeah, all the way up to Salt Lake City.
it was
Wow.
Uber on you?
But can you imagine their surprise when they opened the trunk and there was Ronnie?
That's
Oh,
when they
man,
probably
I-
were like, I'm gonna
And,
go.
and I said to somebody, they had no idea who he was. And this person said, you're wrong. He had his name tag on.
I totally thought that was just a story we were playing out.
It
I didn't.
was
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
He was taken.
he was taken for 3 weeks
It'll,
with my
it'll
car.
go down
He
as the
took my car. We don't
legend
know
of
the
Ronnie.
The legend of Ronnie continues.
His, were the
That's
Elvis
right.
sons with him?
No, those were also taken.
Oh, the hot item.
They took those ones, but luckily we have I've replaced those. So
Excellent.
now we've got extra.
I hope they donated 25 happy bucks because that's what they needed to do to get out of it.
Right. And I have apologized to those on early, but I'm next to a busy street with dogs outside. I'm in Mexico at my cousin's house.
Oh my gosh, that's the coolest.
Yes, it is.
That's the coolest.
And there also are a few mosquitoes meandering around. It's mosquito season here. Yay.
So when we see you whacking yourself periodically, we'll know.
That could be, well, it's not self-flagellation, it's mosquito repelling.
How's the weather?
It's going to be in the high 80s today. It's similar temperatures to Las Vegas and also similar humidity because I'm up in the mountains.
Hmm.
My hair line here, so that's important.
What's the nearest city you are there? Linda?
Leon,
Leon.
that's where I flew in yesterday, and I told those on earlier that the airlines have it down to us to scan a QR code and answer a health questionnaire before you board the plane.
Right.
And when you disembark, you're asked to scan the QR code again for the results. The flights have been full.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. No paper, no pens. No
Well, not
transmission.
true, because we still have the great old immigration and customs forms to fill out.
Bring your own pen.
Yeah, well, I forgot one, so I had to get one from the flight attendant. But oh well.
Yes, I found out when I travel internationally and come back to the US, you don't have to fill out those forms because you do it on it's a computer piece.
We're trying to figure out when I leave because I leave on a Monday afternoon and I need a COVID test within 48 hours. And there ain't a lot open on the weekends. So we're figuring all that out.
Monday morning, first thing.
No, you have to have a certain number of hours before you fly also.
72 hours, yeah.
But I'm, well, in Mexico, it's 48, so.
As
There-
long as the tests are available for you, that would be the,
Yes,
you know,
I
you
saw-
you get in a community where there aren't there, so
yeah, I may be here for a while, but oh well.
worse places to be.
Always fun.
And I see that masks are no longer required outdoors in Nevada. That's great.
I think it's US wide.
And
Whole US.
here in Mexico, people are still wearing them on the street.
Michael,
Our speaker is joining us. Good morning, Greta.
Good morning.
Happy to have you with us this morning.
No, I'm happy to be here. And apologies for the early email today.
And for those of you who don't know, Greta is the daughter of our member Joel Seidman. And we let her speak anyway. Oh. Yeah, my cousin is in the, owns a film festival. And so she's all high tech and ready for me to do meetings. She even has a little light that I could put on myself to make myself look better, but I decided not to risk that.
Did they have a makeup lady?
Yeah, probably. Well, Sarah owns a film festival, so she does the red carpet and she does have someone to do her makeup. She's the glamorous part of my family.
Don't sell yourself short.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like the Mexican air makes your hair look great.
Oh, yeah, I love the air here, for sure.
That and curlers.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning, Dave. Diane.
David,
Good morning. I can't see everyone because I'm on an iPad, but I see people joining.
yeah, iPad, you get 9 people, that's it.
Raquel, did you get your car back? Cool. Any damage? You're muted.
It was pretty spectacular. No damage.
Did they fill the tank?
It was half full. Half full, like when they took it.
Oh.
Listen to her, she's a half
It was a
full.
long joyride,
It was a solid joyride. I mean,
but we have Ronnie back.
6
We have-
hours. Ronnie's
Hey.
They left Ronnie?
They did.
yeah. The police report read 2 stuffed animals in the back seat.
Oh, he had company. What was the other one? Did he
I
pick
had
up?
a little taco
Right.
pillow. I had a little taco pillow, and they seemed to not need those things.
How funny. Isn't
No,
that?
Ronnie was probably really insulted by that.
Oh,
An
geez.
animal.
They might have gotten in a spat, and that's kind of why they parted ways, and he got the car.
I'll bet you he cussed at him the whole way and they gave up the car.
Well, Lynn, you can now use Ronnie to fundraise again.
Yeah. And good morning, Joel, and Lee Weber has joined us.
Hey, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Hi.
Well, I saw the little video of Ronnie fishing. I thought it was pretty fun. So I wonder where he's going next.
Maybe he'll end up in Mexico.
You know, he could have come with me.
He probably doesn't have a passport.
No, probably diplomat. Good morning, Jim Camburn.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Well, we're just about ready to start. And yes, I did bring the bell along this morning.
I want a drink.
And as I was moving my suitcase around, people were saying, "Do you have a bell in there?" Yeah.
Doesn't everybody?
Yeah, doesn't everybody carry a drink please bell with them on a trip?
No, that's
Morning,
Linda.
Linda and everybody.
Good morning. In Dallas, people were still wearing masks in restaurants and in stores. But of course, it's not mandatory in Dallas, but by business, some businesses asked you to still wear a mask. And of course, I was staying with folks who have quite a few health conditions, so I had to be careful.
Well, that's good to know since Carol's going there tomorrow.
Yeah, tell her to take some masks
Thursday.
along. And the governor there is convinced that the situation's taken care of. So, and a lot of governors around the country seem to have that view.
Well, when one of them dies from COVID, it will change.
Well, that might change a person's mind, yeah.
It's not over.
And here comes Glenn Ritt. Good morning, Glenn. And there's Ben. We're just 2 minutes from lighting this candle.
Linda, when are we going to meet at TPC? What's it, June?
June 8th.
8. Thank you.
You are welcome. I've been sending out these little cards once a month with
Yeah.
the schedule. And I hope that's helpful to people.
I like the cards.
It's nice.
And that's a young person who
Good.
likes cards. That's interesting.
Well, even us old guys like it too.
Well, it does get confusing, especially now. And on June 8th, when we resume live meetings, we will no longer offer the Zoom option. We've determined that it's just too confusing and it's not a great experience for either participant. We will have the meetings recorded. I think Michael has offered to do that, so we can put them up on YouTube after the meeting. If you have a speaker that you want to hear, you can do it that way. Okay, we're certainly getting there.
I'll tell you what, the cards give me a reason to actually go to the mailbox. Otherwise, it's just junk mail.
Oh, good to know. Okay. It is kind of a bummer, Ben, that we're not going to do the Zoom, but we did try it once and it was difficult to manage. Okay, guess what? It's 9:30 here, haha, and 7:30 where you are. Welcome to the Summerlin Rotary Club meeting. I'm Linda Davis, the president, and I apologize for the loud traffic noise outdoors. I'm in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, next to a busy street with a couple of dogs outside and mosquitoes buzzing around. So guess what I might be doing? Anyway, let's move on to our Pledge of Allegiance and take it away.
Pledge allegiance to the
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And move on. And we do have a guest this morning, but she's also our speaker, Greta Seidman, and we'll be introducing her a little bit later. So let's move on to the inspiration. No, we're not seeing anything. So there's nothing playing. But I can tell you what it's about. Do we want to return to the slide since, oh, here it comes, maybe. No. Anyway, on Saturday, April 24th, we had a work project.
Oh, that's so cool. And Beth, how about you?
Oh, it just makes me so happy that you all were able to offer this to us and come out and help, and I'm very happy.
That's good. We like happy people, and thanks for your help and for your service.
We had a work project on April 24th at Macmillan Elementary School that Greg Townsend and our Youth Services Committee organized. And Greg, would you like to talk about the project and how it all turned out?
It's beautiful. As you come into the front of the school, it looks like somebody cares, as opposed to just barren crap. So it was great. We had gravel delivered. We had some help in installing it, carrying the wheelbarrows, and then we had, I don't know, 25 people or so, Rotarians and school members faculty and faculty's mates were there. They were still doing stuff as we left, decorating the fences and all. So outstanding success, I thought. School's happy. We had an opportunity to do some Rotary at work and make some new friends and carry on. So
Good.
the
We
school
wore
is
our
just-
Rotarians at Work shirt, and I think that we were even closer to 30 people as I counted, and we had volunteers out there from age 9, and that was Wiley, Christy Saragino's son, up to age 90, whose name shall remain anonymous. Was not me. Anyway, it was a great day. In fact, we had a family member of one of the teachers come forward offering to donate a sum of money if our club will match it. And that'll come up at our board meeting tomorrow. But thank you very much, Greg, for organizing this. We have proven that we can continue to do good work even during a pandemic. This is New Generation Month for Rotary, which means we are focusing on our accomplishments and opportunities with youth services of all ages, from the very young up through Rotaract. And our next morning meeting, we'll hear from the person, Russ Dazio, who has been trying to start a Rotaract club at UNLV. I see Gordon has joined us this morning. Welcome, Gordon Cole.
Hello.
Let's move right on. Matt Engel, take it away.
Get myself unmuted here. And so good morning, everybody. It's nice to virtually see everybody. And I did prepare a PowerPoint. Some of you may have seen this a couple of years ago when I first joined Rotary. Some of the slides are the same. Michael, are you going to cue that up, or should I share my screen? There we go. Okay. Okay, so personally, what I've got going on here, Michael, go ahead. You can take it to the next slide. Got an agenda, of course. I'm an insurance guy, so typically, business people like to have agendas and have a place where we're going. So I'm going with Jim Camburn's very detailed items to discuss, a little bit about me, some of my business efforts, and kind of how to help one another. Next slide. About me. So moved here as a kid, grew up here for the most part, been here since 1970. Family came here. Family of 5 kids, so I come from a large family, 7 in the total family. And some of the schools that I went to, some of you long timers that have been here a while may recognize those names. CBT Gilbert, it's back when there were 6th grade centers. Brindley Junior High School, Western High School, and UNLV, 91 grad in UNLV. Been married now for 28 years. So married to my wife for 28 years, and we have 2 girls. Ages 26 and 23. 26-year-old just moved back home from Australia. She was a casualty of the pandemic and lost her role there. But she's back home now. My younger one, 23, just graduated the Honors College from UNLV. She's a Raiderette, as I know some of you know that. Pretty exciting. She's having fun right now as a Raiderette, and her contract got renewed for this year. So if any of you are going to the games, you'll see Madison Engel down there dancing as the Raiderettes. Personally, some hobbies for me: fitness guy, like to golf, work out, big sports fan. I like to attend concerts. Coming back now, so Vegas is going to be a fun place to be. I make wine. Many of you know that I'm a big wine guy, and I like to travel. So some of the things I like to support. My personal motto: be grateful, give back, and be yourself. That's something I came to fruition when I hit about 40 many years ago now. But that's just, if I could share that with my kids and be a better person, those were the principles I wanted to have guide me. Arts, culture, education are some of the things I support. UNLV Alumni Association, I'm a past president of the organization. The Natural History Museum, I'm a past chairman of the board. A couple of nonprofits there, so I like to help in the education, the arts, and the culture pieces. And there's my family, a couple of the galas there through the years. Business-wise, so corporate exec for many years, climbed corporate ladders. In 2010, decided, I'm just going to be an individual insurance broker and not be in management and go that route. So property and casualty are the main lines that I get involved with. So think of your business insurances, general liability, workers' compensation, you know, any products that are going to be to help protect the business. The interesting thing is I wake up every day like I did today in an industry where, you know, three things I like to tell people. I said, you know, I get up every day and I'm working with people, business owners who don't really know that much about insurance. They think it's the prudent thing to do, but you know, they feel like they think they know and they really don't know a whole heck of a lot, most of them. Secondly, they don't ever want to use it. They never want to use it because they're, oh man, I don't ever want to use it because if I use it, my rates are going to go up. And then thirdly, everybody thinks they pay too much for it. So that's the industry I wake up in every day that I'm a part of. The clientele that I serve, a lot of construction clients. Cannabis has been an emerging industry the last 7 years or so, and I've been involved with a lot of owners in that space. I work with a lot of nonprofits. I work with a lot of the larger nonprofits in town and in California. IOA Smart Club, we have a specific specialty program for golf and country clubs. I've got a pretty good background in the hospitality industries and in golf courses. And one of the exciting things with IOA, my agency, is we've actually got a special product for that. So next slide. So this is a quick 90-second video that talks a little bit about what makes us different at IOA and our unique approach.
Let's face it, managing your company's insurance risk is like, well, trying to play golf blindfolded with only a putter. Even a little mistake can create a huge problem. What we're saying is, it's really hard. You can do your absolute best to enforce best practices in compliance with safety regulations, but there are always blind spots that you can't account for, and they can cost your company huge sums of money. If you're going to achieve your best score, the right set of clubs and a knowledgeable caddy by your side are the best tools to have. That's where Risk Score comes in. Risk Score is like a credit score, but for your business. The higher your score, the lower your risk, and the better your rates. The best part is, we made it simple. Risk Score's online survey takes less than 10 minutes to complete, but that's all our team needs to analyze your risk, provide you tools, and come up with a plan to help you reduce your claims, reduce risk, and increase your profitability. Risk Score highlights your company's strengths, and your underwriter won't just see checkboxes on a piece of paper. They'll get a deeper understanding of your business and a more comprehensive look at all the great things you're doing to proactively manage your risk. So take off that blindfold and swing like the pro you are. Together, we can make your company as risk-free as possible. We invite you to take your free Risk Score survey today and experience the value of understanding.
Okay, next slide, Michael. So that's really just speaks to what makes us a little bit different. Our unique approach is one of the big reasons why I gain my new clients. I help with two of those three things. Kind of how do we help them minimize risk, and by minimizing risk, they pay less money and that sort of thing. So that's really the big deal. I'm not the best agent for somebody that just says, hey, I just need to shop my insurance and get the cheapest price out there. If they're not going to have interest in minimizing those claims and risk, then I may not be the best person. This speaks a little bit about, the proactive risk management is the risk score piece. We train the employees, and then there's the other part that most agencies can do. Next slide. So how to help. So I know there's always, hey, what can we do to help you? And I like to help others as well. So certainly, here to help others where I can. Introductions for me in the business world and nonprofit sector, $5 million plus in annual revenue is typically where it's going to start making sense for the services and the resources I can offer clients. So anywhere from 5 million up to 100 million. I've got clients that are, 100 million in annual revenues. So certainly always helpful there in those markets that I serve: construction, cannabis, nonprofits, country clubs, golf courses, all sweet spots for me. And always happy to help anybody else. Many people know me in this community as somebody who can help them with an introduction. So I would just put it out there. If I can help you, don't be shy about asking. And some of you may know the Beatles. What is that? What song? I know somebody's got to know. What song is that from?
Help.
Help. There we go. All right. So let me know how I can help you as well. And next slide. That's it. There's my
Oh,
contact.
that was great. Thank you, Matt. We really appreciate your presentation this morning, and congratulations to you on really a good way to sum up how you do business. Does anybody have questions for Matt this morning? And a special thanks to Jim Camburn for arranging all the craft talks. Actually, I think Jim was responsible for Matt joining this club. Is that right, Matt?
Jim is the very first person that introduced me to Rotary Summerlin many years ago. Actually, it took me a while to finally join, but I finally did join. So thank you, Jim. It's been enjoyable.
Excellent. Okay, if no one has more questions, we'll move right along. And thank you to our sponsor this morning, Jill Branson. Jill is a pillar of our community and one of our co-chairs of community service. Take it away, Jill.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be here. And I too had a wonderful adventure in Maui. And it was exciting to say the least. My sister-in-law came with us. This is just a short story. And her husband and their COVID tests came the morning they got to the airport. So they just missed it, or almost missed it. Anyway, so today, what I want to do is share with you two things. One is that I do team coaching. And as we know, I'm a John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, speaker, and more. And what I do is basically try to bring teams together and create that loyalty in the workplace that has seemed to drift away due to COVID, part of it. And it was long before that it was happening, but now it's time to start realizing that your employees want to look up to you and they want to have a good relationship with you. So I help with that. I also want to talk about the mailbox power just briefly, and the fact that it has been a big help, I think, with some of the people that aren't able to get online, to get to their email, etc. It's a great way for also for you to keep in touch with your customers, with family, with sending just little hello, I'm thinking about you, to let them know and remind them that they need to keep you as top of mind.
And Jill, for those of you who don't know, Jill was the person who introduced that program, which is where your cards and postcards come from. And your birthday cards and sympathy cards and get well cards, that all comes from the same program that Jill introduced to this club.
Yes, and I love it because that's what I do. I'm a communication strategist. And the communication that you have between your customers and your employees and just your family members, it can really increase, I guess, that feeling that you really care and that you're really taking the time to make it personal.
Well, thank you so much, Jill, for sponsoring the meeting this morning. We really appreciate what you do. And let's move on. Okay, we have an exciting speaker this morning, and I have asked her father, Joel Seidman, to introduce Greta this morning.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You do.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm so proud to do it. My daughter Greta, we all moved here about 26 years ago, and so Greta, for the most part of her life, was raised here, along with her other two brothers. Greta's career started off in at working for Pizza Hut, went on to work for Claim Jumper, and took such an interest in it that they actually created a position. I'm sure she'll correct me if I made any mistakes in this quick order of events. They actually created a marketing position for her. And because she had all these amazing ideas when Claim Jumper first started. And they created a whole marketing position for her, and she was with them for a while. And then Greta went to the Chamber of Commerce, Metro Chamber, and had a directorship position with marketing and communications. From there, went to Nevada Hand with a similar, a very, I'm sure most of you know that, you know what Nevada Hand is, and has worked her way up with no help except for her brain, her character, and her confidence, and as a very caring human being, has worked her way up with really no juice, no help, nothing. And unfortunately, these businesses were out of the realm of, you know, where I work, and this great position came up for Brightline to be director of public affairs, which is a monumental responsibility for this new railroad. So I'm sure, as we all know, for those of you who have come from areas where you have rail service, how necessary this is. I wake up every day in Henderson having the railroad 100 yards behind me and bemoan the fact that I can't hop on a stop and get into town within 15 minutes with the rail pass. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm very excited for her. There's great challenges, and I'm so proud of her. So I'm sure she has some stuff to tell you. You probably have questions for her. So it's my pleasure to introduce my daughter, Greta Seidman Beck.
Thanks. It is awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me. So in addition to obviously my dad, I know a couple of you from chamber things back in the day. Matt and I were actually part of the same leadership Las Vegas class, double the one, double the fun. And Dave Paget and I worked a lot on Business Expo at the chamber together. He is to this day one of the best exhibitors I think that program has ever had. So
it will not surprise you later on, Greta, when we ask you to join our club.
So it's you know, it's great to be here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Brightline and what we're doing, and you know, if I can answer any questions, I'm happy to. I will also issue the caveat that I joined the rail industry about 9 months ago. So if there's something I don't know, I will leave my contact information, and I'm really good about bothering people who on the engineering and the technical side know a lot more than I do. So with that, kind of wanted to talk a little bit about who Brightline, who we are as a company. If we can roll to the next slide. So if you aren't familiar with Brightline, we are the first private passenger rail company in over a century. We operate currently out of South Florida, connecting Miami to West Palm Beach, and we're currently expanding north to Orlando. We're about 50% done with that expansion project, which is pretty monumental in itself, just given the geography and just the logistics of that project. So that line covers about 235 miles and is due to open in 2022. And we, continue to add. So we announced like late last year that we're building a station downtown Disney Springs and Disney World, which has a lot of people very excited. And we've announced stations at Aventura and Port Miami to kind of connect with the cruise traffic. And are in talks to an extension into Tampa, which would ultimately provide access to about 50% of the state's residents, not counting any of its it's millions of visitors that are trying to give Vegas a run for its money, but I think to no avail. So, I like to kind of address this like right at the get-go. I've lived here for 25 years. I know probably most of you have spent a good chunk of time in Vegas already. So this project has been several iterations over many, many years. So when people say, okay, great, Vegas to LA, what's different this time? This is kind of my starting answer is it's Brightline, because we've done this before. We've done it in South Florida, and we know how to do it. So our business model is connecting city pairs that are too long to drive and too short to fly. So we've identified, as you can see on the map, about 10 to 12 of those pairs, but focus now on completing South Florida and that Brightline West corridor between LA and Southern California. And then next slide. And I always think this is kind of fun. If you haven't seen our system in South Florida, one of our differentiators is that we're really focused on the overall experience of the line. So on the trains and in the stations, passengers enjoy free Wi-Fi. There's charging stations at each seat. The stations, as you can see, are clean and bright. There's plenty of leg room on our trains, very cheery, inviting atmosphere. We have a signature scent we pump into our trains, which I just recently found out about. So it's really kind of more of a full hospitality experience, which, you know, being in Vegas, you have to have that experiential factor built in. So people can really, you know, if you're coming from, you know, whether you're coming from Apple Valley or LA, that Vegas experience starts that much faster now. You know, and we realized after we built this project in Florida, this is a model that can be replicated in other markets. And that's essentially kind of how Brightline West was born. You can go to the next slide. So just a quick timeline on kind of how we got to where we're going today. So Brightline, once we acquired the project about 2 years ago, it was a late stage development. So we acquired the project as Express West. It had already received a record of decision and approvals from the Federal Railroad Administration. The environmental work had already been done on it. So the project had a great start when we got it. So really spent the next couple of years extending the right of way, finalizing and really continuing on the engineering and permitting process, really kind of fine tuning that Vegas to Victor Valley segment, that iteration that, you know, we've kind of always heard about and talked about. One of the other things that we did was we really tried to minimize the impact of the route on the existing right of way and to the environment. So we moved from double track to mostly single track, except in 3 passing areas. And we moved the freeway, or we moved the alignment into the I-15 right of way. So it will either run in the median or to the east of the I-15 tracks in its own dedicated and protected rail corridor. So that means no grade crossings with streets. That means additional safety. It kind of, it helps us get to those high speeds. So it was just kind of a win-win all around on that. And we work very closely with NDOT and Caltrans on pretty much every step of the way, from traffic management to how the tracks are going to interact with the freeway, what kind of guardrail we're going to be using. So we're in lockstep with them. So the other big thing that we knew we wanted to do when we acquired the project was pursue further into Southern California to kind of really enhance that connectivity and access to the LA basin and other big destination points. So as you can kind of see from that map, we can do that through 2 access points. So there's a long-term discussion, as you'll see in that little pink-orange little route, to link through Palmdale, which would connect into California high-speed rail when it's built into that system, as well as MetroLink, which gets you into downtown LA, into Union Station. So right now there's currently a study being conducted by a lot of stakeholders in the Palmdale area that will kind of inform next steps on ridership and facilities, and we're working collaboratively on that. The other piece, the other connection we're pursuing is between the Victor Valley and Rancho Cucamonga. So this is really attractive because you can enter the entire MetroLink system through, including downtown LA, and it's MetroLink's busiest line directly through MetroLink station in Rancho Cucamonga. So our station is going to be located adjacent to the existing MetroLink station. And we have a lot of public and private partners in discussion in that area to also, they're in talks with the Boring Company actually to build a tunnel that will connect that area to the Ontario airport. They're in talks with, to provide local bus system access. So really kind of making it this true transportation hub for Southern Californians to get around a little bit better and to, kind of ease that access point into Las Vegas. Because that if you've ever sat in traffic on the Cajon Pass, that can last hours and it is not pretty. So we just actually finished a public comment period to set up the framework for what that is going to look like. So we're, starting preliminary design and engineering work, and working with those partners on kind of what that transportation hub will look like. So both plans for expansion, that we don't view them as mutually exclusive. We think that greater connectivity is a better thing for everyone. So, we're all for it. One of our folks in Florida likes to say we push and pull with a lot of other different systems. So, whether it's MetroLink or bus systems or that last mile connectivity or California high-speed rail when it's complete or when it's built, it's all good more connectivity. It's just a better thing. So however we can help with that, we're more than happy to do. So this year, the big, kind of our big thing is continuing to finalize that design and engineering work. We are expected to break ground this year on that initial segment between Vegas and Victor Valley, and we should have more information on that shortly. And then we are going to be pursuing financing for that initial stretch, leading to a break ground sometime this year. And then continuing to pursue those extension projects simultaneously. So it's a big year for us, and it's been a lot of fun so far, learning a lot about the railroad industry and the market, and high-speed rail in particular is just really fascinating. And then if we can go to the next slide. So just some fun numbers I like to put out there, and a lot of questions we get asked. So we're expected to draw about 11.3 million passengers annually. We did a ridership study a few years ago from a third party when we acquired the project, and kind of looked at the market, what we could expect from rail, from air traffic, from car traffic, and kind of did a really big study on what we can expect. And we expect them to be mostly leisure travelers. We are expecting some business and convention traffic, but the good majority of those we are expecting to be leisure. Our trains are all electric and zero emission. California and Nevada have some pretty ambitious emission reductions goals. So this will definitely help towards that. And they will reach speeds of up to 200 miles an hour. So it's a true European high-speed rail product. And then average ride time, because I do get asked this a lot. So Vegas to LA is about 3 hours, and then Vegas to Victor Valley is about 85 minutes. And then trains will deploy with 45-minute headwinds each way, so about 25 trains per day in each direction, depending on demand. And then for periods of, high peak, or, think holiday weekends, New Year's, Raiders games, periods of high traffic, we can also couple those trains. So each train set can accommodate about 600 passengers. So with this coupling, we essentially can double that when we need to. So it's exciting. And then next slide. So really, I love talking about this piece because I'm at heart and always will be a chamber girl. So our employment impact, just for a system of comparison, our system in Florida created about 10,000 construction jobs. Our system is going to create about 40,000. It's all new track we're laying down, and it's a big chunk of space that we're in. And then about 1,000 permanent jobs, and that includes maintenance, engineering, hospitality, security, station management, all of those things. Overall, the project will create about $9 billion in economic impact and about $1 billion in tax revenue. And next slide. So one of our key values, and something that we really kind of embrace as part of our brand promise, is embracing and leading the way on green travel. So I mentioned our zero emission trains. They're going to remove about 3 million cars and about 500,000 tons of CO2 from the atmosphere every year. And it kind of, it extends further into that. So our stations meet or exceed LEED certification standards. We'll have electric vehicle charging stations in our parking lots. And throughout the trains and the stations, we'll be using reclaimed, recycled, and sustainably sourced products whenever possible. And then next slide. And then I thought it might be kind of fun just to take you through the route really, really quickly, kind of high level. So our station in the Victor Valley is actually, it's in Apple Valley. So it's the I-15 and Dale Evans Parkway. So we'll start there on the east side of the freeway, and at Barstow, we'll enter a median on a viaduct structure that goes above some existing railroad tracks and bridge work. And then we'll stay in the median pretty much throughout the duration of the line in California. And then next slide, as you get into Nevada, we're in the median through Prim. And then just after Prim, move to the east again due to some of the geography of the route at that point, and then move back into the center until about the St. Rose Parkway interchange. And then we'll move to the east of the freeway leading up to our station, which is on Las Vegas Boulevard between Blue Diamond and Warm Springs Road. So we'll actually have a Las Vegas Boulevard address for our station, which was really important to us. And, you know, on both station lands, we are expecting to do a mix of development. Our stations in Florida are kind of community hubs. You know, our Miami Central station has commercial space. They've got retail. They have a 40,000 square foot food hall that I really hope they decide to do some iteration of here. It's really exciting. So, and it's very much a, you know, what is it dictated by the communities. So, and kind of what those needs are and what the appetite is and demand. So really excited about what kind of development will occur in our you know, in proximity to our stations as that moves forward. And then I think this is my last slide. There we go. Okay, so just kind of ways to keep in the loop with the project. I'll put my contact information in the chat. So you guys can reach me anytime if you have any questions, but we have a dedicated construction website that's going to have all of our updates on schedule and route and what we're working on when we break ground. We also have an outreach inbox, which we have sourced questions on everything from what kind of rail ties we'll be using to whether or not we're going to have Elvis on the train to whether or not we're going to be able to accidentally knock down the Baker thermometer. That lady is persistent. And then we also have an outreach hotline that's available as well. So we want to make sure it's as easy as possible for people to get a hold of us with any questions they have. And we're also on social media. You can find us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, as well as Brightline has kind of an overarching page on Instagram if you want to keep up with some of the fun stuff happening on the Florida side. But that's kind of it for my really quick and high level kind of project overview. Anybody has any questions? I see a couple in.
It's just terrific. And in case you can't find Elvis, we have our own version of Elvis, and his name is Ronald Summers, and he's an adventurer and he's a really cool guy. But I think this is one of the most exciting things there's Ronnie. Raquel is holding Ronnie up. He's kind of a big mouth, but you know, he does make an impact wherever he goes. Anyway, that's all wonderful, great, Greta. When will I take my first ride?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when we break ground, it's about a 3.5 year construction timeline, which in infrastructure terms isn't that big, but it's about 3 years for construction. And then there's a testing period because it's high-speed passenger rail. We want to make sure everything's A-okay. And so you'll actually see trains running for about 5 to 6 months before we actually kick off service. So it's about 3 years.
Are you Go Brightline on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, I'm hooking us up. All right.
Awesome.
Who else has questions for Greta?
I do. How do you get from Warm Springs to the Strip and downtown?
Also a great question. So we're working with local public transportation as well as hospitality partners and on that last mile connectivity piece. So whether it's, you know, it's shuttle service or kind of dedicated bus lines or something along those lines, we work on that. We're currently underway on those discussions on making sure that last mile connectivity is just as much a good experience as getting on the train and taking the ride.
Exciting possibility. I look forward to being on that train someday. Question, 15 is often a parking lot anyway on the weekends, traveling back and forth between here and California. With construction going on in the medial strip, what impact do you expect to have on the traffic on 15?
None whatsoever. I'm just kidding. So I mentioned we have a great relationship with NDOT and Caltrans, and part of that is on traffic mitigation as we go through the construction process. So, you know, on the Nevada side, we will not be, you know, our NDOT is very cautious about not doing work on weekends and keeping, you know, when we do have to do closures, doing them overnight on weekdays and avoiding work at all on holiday weekends and things like that. So we're working very closely with both departments of transportation to make sure that what the work we're doing is that impact is mitigated as much as possible as we go through that process. And part of my role is public outreach when construction starts. So making sure that folks along the route, especially on the California side who rely on the 15 as their primary thoroughfare, they have plenty of notice when things are going to be happening. And so our goal is to minimize surprise as much as possible.
I've a couple questions, Greta.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. First, what is going to be the round trip cost? One great thing about travel in Europe is trains are cheaper. And now you're competing with Spirit and other budget airlines. And so you're going to have competition there. The other question is, strangely, I heard Amtrak is drumming up ideas for the same route. And is that going to happen? And do you care?
I love all of those questions. So round trip costs, we definitely want to make sure that we're staying on par with kind of the cost of gas and parking. So while we don't have those, I can't give you an exact number right now just because it's a little far out. What we're planning on doing is kind of having multiple kind of pricing structures. So you can have an all-inclusive option with food and cocktails. You can have VIP parking, or you can, even just the kind of the standard package. You're still getting, plenty of leg room, select your seat. You can still check bags if you want. So our plan is to keep it on par with the cost of gas and parking. And as that firms up, happy to kind of give you guys some additional information on that. And then we also, our Florida line also does group rates. They do special kind of fun activities around sporting events. So I think there's going to be a lot of room for creativity, especially with the number of events and fun things that happen in Vegas. I think there's going to be, I think there'll be a lot of room for experiential travel, which I think is something that I think people will really embrace. And then on the Amtrak piece, so Amtrak actually had service to Vegas. I think it stopped in 1997. So they, I can't speak for what their plans are, but to relink Vegas and LA. But our train will more than likely be faster because it is high-speed rail. But with all of this talk about infrastructure and rail, and infrastructure actually being like people are excited about it. The conversation is great, and we're happy that Amtrak wants to kind of increase that connectivity. As I mentioned, that better connectivity for everyone is good for us. So we're supportive of their endeavors, and really excited about people getting excited about railroads and traveling by train and those possibilities. Our CEO, the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, is actually doing a high-speed rail panel this Thursday, and our CEO is going to be one of the panelists, along with Amtrak and Texas Central, which is another privately owned rail company that's on track to connect the Houston into, I think, Dallas area. So it's really just an interesting point in time to be involved in rail, and I think the excitement is awesome, and really excited about kind of where those conversations go in the next few months.
Hey, Greta.
Yeah.
A couple questions. Number one, you mentioned single rail versus double rail. Are you suggesting that you would only have one set of tracks so the train could only be going one direction at the same time? And also, yours is the first presentation I've heard that sounds definitive about connecting Victorville with LA. Which I never understood the philosophy of going from Las Vegas to Victorville. I mean, even if it cuts over to Palmdale, it just makes no sense to me, having lived in both places. And lastly, is there any money that's being talked about for this construction and so forth from the new government's infrastructure plan?
Sure. So first question on the single versus double track. So we are a single track. We have three. So as you leave the stations, there are double tracks, and then there are three passing sidings kind of divided into thirds along the route. So
see.
it's single track, but you'll have passing sidings, and we use our train control system is positive train control, and we're working with Siemens and a couple of other folks on kind of that systems integration piece. So it all kind of works together on timing. And it's pretty, I mean, the technology on it's pretty incredible what they're able to do now with those European systems. And then on the connections into from the Victor Valley area into LA, yeah, it's been one of our big priorities to kind of get that greater connectivity. And we had, we have great support throughout both Nevada and California on local, state, and the federal level to kind of get those connections where they'll be most useful to residents and visitors. On the Rancho Cucamonga piece, there's a big concern about commuter traffic. So, they're talking about, potentially putting an inline station in somewhere between Rancho and Victorville to kind of help with that. But it's really just, being collaborative and making sure what we're going to do is going to benefit the most amount of people. And then on the infrastructure package, we're definitely keeping a close eye on it. Congresswoman Dina Titus sits on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and she's a big supporter of the project. And we certainly appreciate her support, but we're keeping an eye on it as those that package develops. One of the big, and it's not like the sexiest part of this infrastructure package, something that they're talking about is increasing the private activity bond cap, which would definitely benefit potentially benefit our project as well as others. But there's a couple of different avenues that we could potentially have on that package, but it's still early and there's still discussions and lots of ideas being floated around. So we're just keeping a real close eye on it. And again, just the conversation around infrastructure and kind of the universal acknowledgement that there's a need for better infrastructure is a great starting off point for us.
Who else has questions for Greta this morning?
Greg Townsend here. I've got one. How many cars would we be changing if we got on at Allegiant and got off at Staples? Between a bus ride, a train ride, a subway ride, or whatnot?
So, and this is purely theoretical at this point. I will.
Yes, ma'am.
So there would more than likely, you would have a shuttle service to Allegiant. So from Allegiant, you take a shuttle. There would be one train between here and Rancho Cucamonga, and then there would be our station. The way it's kind of, we're thinking it's going to be configured is you would get off the Brightline train, go down an escalator, and hop on a Metrolink to downtown LA Union Station, which is right near Staples, and it would be a one ticket. Hopefully, would be a one ticket purchase.
Yeah, one more question if everyone's being shy. I had thought that this was aligned with Virgin and did a quick Google, and it seems that fell apart. Now there's a nasty lawsuit. Is there anything more you can tell us about the official line on why that fell apart and how it affects your financing?
So I can't comment on anything relating to Virgin because of ongoing litigation, but it was a marketing agreement that we had that we dissolved last year. I believe it's sometime in the late summer. But speaking from a financing perspective, our Florida line went out for a round of bond financing late last year. And they were, they also affiliated, the entire brand was. And it was a very successful bond raise. It was over and done in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So it was, on that level, it has not impacted our ability to finance any of our projects at this point.
Okay, last couple of questions.
Hey, Greta, it's Dave Paget. It's good to see you this morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's great to see you too.
Good, good. Hey, you mentioned a little bit about partnering with Boring Company in regards to some bypass stuff. Any other affiliations with them? Maybe that last little bit from your last station into the strip that kind of thing? Anything on the horizon there? Any possibilities?
Yeah, and so the boring company, they're more in talks with the San Bernardino County Transportation Authority because they kind of have the jurisdiction over that connection from that transportation hub to the Ontario airport. So they're kind of working that. We're just kind of making sure that as we plan out station details, that we're taking into account that consideration. But I think, the Boring Company has great plans for what they're doing in Vegas and, especially with Allegiant and some of the other resort properties coming on board. So, I can't speak to anything that we have in the works or might have conversations about, but it's a really exciting company. And I think they're going to be great for getting people around the Strip.
Question. There was something in the newspaper about a light rail system on Charleston Boulevard. Are you guys connected with that at all?
No, we're not at this point. So that's more of an inner city system, and we kind of do longer haul kind of projects. But when I was with the chamber, we did a lot of study and a lot of issue education on light rail, and it definitely has its benefits. And I think that Charleston connector, I think it'll be really interesting to see where that project goes. But no, we're not affiliated with it.
Okay, Greta, I hope that we can call you back maybe in about a year to see how things are coming along. And I hope that you will consider, Dave Paget, perk up your ears, joining our Rotary Club. And perhaps if you put your contact information in the chat, if people have questions that they forgot to ask, they can get in touch with you. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate it. It's great to see something exciting happening in Rotary or in our world. I mean, our Rotary district goes over to California and we have to go back and forth for Rotary events, and maybe this will make it easier. Who knows?
Yeah, I actually did a presentation not that long ago to the Victorville Rotary Club. So
cool.
They're great folks. Love them.
They're a part of our district. And speaking of district, Glenn Ritt, would you like to talk about district conference?
To be honest, Linda, to be honest, I'm not prepared to talk about it today. My apologies.
Well, I can tell you that it's Saturday, May 22nd. And I believe that registration is open because I have registered, and it will be all virtual this year. And exciting news, our four-way speech contest will be in the district speech contest representing our area. And Jim Camburn has coordinated our area contests and has told me that this is the 4th consecutive year that we'll have our club representative at the district level, right, Jim? Oh, Jim may have left us. Oh, well, too bad, so sad. But district conference is virtual. It's open to all Rotary members, and we really encourage you to participate, especially if you're a new member. Check out what's going on in the district. I also have a club goal that I'll have so many people attend district conference. So I'll be doing a little survey to see how many we had. We have our last session of district assembly tonight, right, Michael Turner?
Actually, there's 2 sessions tonight. One is on grants, and the second one is a session on either secretary treasurer, and the other is on board of directors.
So if you're on our board of directors, if you have anything to do with grant money, I would encourage you to attend those sessions. We have to have 2 representatives at the grant session in order to become eligible to receive grants next year. So this is very, very important. All of the district assembly has been virtual this year also, and several of the trainers on these sessions have been from our club. Glenn Ritt facilitated as assistant district governor. Mike Levy was co-chair on the membership club participation, and Michael Turner presented what we did for fundraising. And I know I'm forgetting some. Oh, I was on the PR committee. Assembly. I wasn't one of the presenters, but I'm co-chair.
And
Okay,
Robert Burdell also was.
that's right. Robert spoke about Rise Against Hunger. Oh, I'm sorry. I have someone at the door behind me speaking. My apologies. We have a board meeting tomorrow night, right, Mark Garber?
That's right. First, happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you,
Yes.
everybody. If you want to participate in the board meeting, I'll send you a link. Everyone's invited. I'll send you the agenda. Just drop me an email, mgardberg@gmail, or contact any of the board members, which is about a third of the people on this call, it seems like, or a fourth. You'll be able to get your way to me, and I'll send you the link.
I think it's also on our club website on the calendar. All members are eligible to attend any board meetings and any foundation meetings for the club. We encourage attendance. When you attend, you can listen. If you want to participate, please ask to be on the agenda or raise your hand during the virtual meeting. We put out an email last week about dues. We will return to the normal dues schedule in June, meaning that if you are a member who attends breakfast meetings, your dues go back to $75 per month, including 2 breakfasts, or $85 if you're contributing to Paul Harris. And for associate members, there will be no change. You'll still be at $44 or $54 if you're contributing to Paul Harris. If you'd like to upgrade and become a member who can attend breakfast twice a month, we're happy to do that. You just need to let John Holcomb and Mark know. And if you would like to go to the associate member level and pay less each month and pay a la carte as you attend breakfast or events, you're welcome to do that as well. We're very flexible with that, but we do need a little bit of advance notice. I know we've been working really hard on cleaning up some past due invoices, people who haven't been invoiced. It's been a journey with our finance department, correct, Mike Levy?
Absolutely.
And I think that we're making some great progress there.
That's true. We're almost there.
Our next club event will be next Tuesday night at Tivoli at Parkway Tavern at 5:30. May 11th, and this is open to all members and your guests. And of course, we'll ask that you abide by Parkway Tavern's rules, which I'm not sure what they will be at this point. I think that we plan to be outdoors that night. So happy to have you all attend. Does anyone else have announcements this morning?
Quick question, Linda. So on that, mixer next week, is there an RSVP or just show up if you can?
No, just show up.
Okay.
If we have a cast of thousands, you may not have quite as much to eat, but we'll be real happy to see you anyway. You can even bring that Raider Red along if you want to. Does anyone?
Right here.
Pardon
right
me?
Here. I received a postcard or a thank you card from Macmillan for all of our speakers that we sent them on video a while back. And it was just, they were very appreciative of what Summerlin Rotary stepped up as a community partner, truly being a partner with Macmillan. It worked very, very well. So thank everybody that did their recordings and coordinated that side of it. It was appreciated. Thank you.
And that was a great little project. Quite a few of us recorded Zooms about recordings about what we did in our careers. And I did mine about my career in the submarine industry in Hawaii. And I had several of the teachers run up and say, "Oh, you're the submarine lady." And I thought, well, that's a good way to put it. Anybody have some happy bucks this morning? Well, I'm happy that this worked from Mexico. There was a bit of anxiety attached. Raquel, are you happy to have your roommate back?
Yeah, I'm happy to have my roommate and my car back.
Which is more important, the car or the roommate?
Don't answer that. Don't
listen. Don't listen.
Raquel, I noticed Ronnie lost his Rotary hat.
Oh,
that's a really good point.
Nuts. Well, I guess somebody out there is it the truth? Took the hat. Yay. Fair to all concerned. Oh, well, so sad. Somebody will be the happy recipient of a new roommate this week, correct, Raquel? Yeah, so somebody has that to look forward to. Anybody else have some happy bucks this morning?
I do. I will give $5, and that would be for my fabulous 2 weeks in Maui, and also for the guests who have come today. I want to say thank you very much, and for the excellent presentations.
And Ben said that he has some happy bucks this morning. But maybe he had to leave us. That's okay. All right, let's move on and close this meeting with our four-way test. And, oh, Ben is back in the waiting room. Let's see if he's coming back to join us. Ben, did you rejoin us? Calling Ben, did you rejoin us?
Hello. Yes, I've been off video. I have no audio. I'm watching 4 dogs.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. They unplugged, but I am happy to announce I have 2 new additions to my family, and I would love to give a happy buck for both of them.
Excellent. And they are 4-legged animals, correct?
Yeah, I can show you. You want to see them?
All right. We have a lot of pet lovers in the audience today.
We've got these.
Oh my God.
This is 2 of 4.
How did you end up with 4 of them?
I'm watching my aunts. I have another one. I do it here. I'm watching my aunt's dogs as well.
Are they yours forever and ever, or are you dog sitting?
These 2 are mine. This one here is my aunt's. And then this one here. Sorry, time schedule. This is my uncle's.
Oh my God. Aren't you a
lot.
nice? Well, everybody knows now that Ben's available to dog sit. Jill, would you lead us in the 4?
Dog sitting for anyone else ever again.
Excellent. Jill Branson, would you like to lead us in the 4-way test?
I would. I need to try to see it. It's gone away.
No, it isn't. Right there in the front.
There.
Okay. First, is it the truth? I'm sorry, I can't see it because it's small.
Okay, is it fair to all concerned?
Will it
Feel goodwill and better friendship?
Will be beneficial to all
Will be
concerned.
beneficial to all
Thank you all very
concerned.
much. Adios.
Have fun.
Have a great day,
Till next
everybody.
week.
Bye.